Hello, in this video I'm going to feature a very exciting matchup from week 4 of my Master League tournament with the $300 prize pool. Let's take a look at what we have this week. This week we have two Brazilian players that know each other very well. That's why I also picked them. We have on the left Lindos Wings, on the right Lindos Paliotat. And both players have picked the Temporal Tower path, where Wings has Origin Dialga, Paliotat has regular Dialga. And one of the Pokemon that really stands out on Wings' side, he has a little bit more legendary / mythical power on his team. Really only one Pokemon, not a legendary mythical, that is Annihilate. But that's ZARUDE. ZARUDE's looking really good into Paliotat's team, who has Mewtwo and Blastoise core, and both get core broken by that ZARUDE. Mewtwo does have Ice Beam on Paliotat's side, so it's quite safe. I think that's kind of what you have to look for to deal with as Paliotat. Dialga and Melmetal might be the Pokemon to do that, but those are core broken by Annihilate. So Wings has some good options, but Paliotat is a really good player, has won the Sao Paulo Regional Championship before. That was the biggest Brazilian regional championship at the time, as you can see by his shirt. So let's see how this is going to play out. We have only one perspective here. We have Melmetal from Wings into Gyarados from Paliotat. And that's a terrible start. I'm not exactly sure what Paliotat is trying to get with that. Maybe trying to play neutrally into that ZARUDE or into the Blastoise. Looks like ZARUDE is answering the Mewtwo here, and it does have Ice Beam, which is not starting as like a Focus Blast, so you can no-shoot that, you can take one, but at this point you might almost get in Side Strike range, so Mewtwo can make this annoying. This could also be an ABB strategy from Paliotat if he has Blastoise in the back, but in that case it just looks pretty difficult to overcome at this point. Paliotat has no Annihilate to core break Melmetal and Dialga, so that core looks good for Wings in general to use, really. In fact, there's nothing really on Paliotat's side that can deal with both Pokemon. In fact, Melmetal is really good into Ice Beam, Side Strike Mewtwo as well, because all the attacks are resisted in comes Mega Blastoise. And it's looking a little bit uphill. There's Origin Dialga for Wings in the back, so Paliotat just getting absolutely annihilated by those 3 picks that just look very good overall for Wings. In fact, it makes me feel like Mewtwo might be the one Pokemon that is just core broken a lot. There's also an Origin Dialga, like we saw at the first time. We saw Tomac UK with a Draco Meteor Origin Dialga. It looks like Wings also has one of those. He takes the first game in a pretty RPS way. Wings is 1-0 up right now. ZARUDE into Melmetal. I think this is kind of the lead Paliotat might want, especially if he has Mewtwo in the back again. This is also kind of rough on Melmetal's side. If you throw Superpower and it's shielded, 2 Superpower won't even be enough afterwards. So you kind of want to bait a Rock Slide first. Go for the Dark Pulse. I think Wings try to land this after the first Superpower, so it does more. But ZARUDE does win Charge Attack Purity. It has very high stats and shields up the first attack to make sure to maintain health. But it's a Rock Slide bait! Pretty gross. But I think Paliotat also realizes I can just get to 3 charge attacks without much trouble there. Right, because he would live 2 Dark Pulse if he doesn't debuff himself. Throws a Superpower. I think the next one would barely not have knocked out. Now goes into the Gyarados again, which I find iffy to bring into Wings in the first place. That Melmetal is just so tricky. Catches the attack on the Melmetal, and Gyarados is also not great into ZARUDE, by the way, just because the charge attacks that Paliotat has are resisted. I think this is kind of a strategy to bait out the Melmetal and clear up Dialga in the back, but also that would mean that Paliotat is ABA to Annihilate, and it looks like Wings did bring Annihilate this time. So if it's not Mewtwo in the back, Wings might be looking okay. Blastoise could also be a little bit tricky maybe, but there's still some energy on the ZARUDE, and there's still a shield as well on Wings' side. There's a lot of energy here too. In comes Melmetal again. This is going to do a lot of damage. I think this might actually barely knock out, maybe barely not. Oh, hangs on by 1 HP. Swaps out, then the Rock Slide into the Mamoswine. I think Paliotat might shield this anyway, because it's also super effective. And this is so tough for Paliotat, because he went ABA to Annihilate. And Annihilate is there. He swapped in his one answer into that ZARUDE, which was the Gyarados. Maybe if you had like an energy advantage on the Mamoswine, you could do something, but at this point Annihilate just punched it down, right? I would say that in Open League, Annihilate is not great, because there's so many teams with like Necrozma, Palkia, Landorus, and it just doesn't do well into that. But here, you have 3 Pokemon on the opposing side that are weak to counter Dialga, Mamoswine, and Melmetal, making it a very good core breaker, along with that ZARUDE and the Melmetal. So Wings just bring his best picks, and Paliotat, it's just a little bit too much to overcome in that battle. In game number 3, let's see, Melmetal into Mewtwo. This Mewtwo has Side Strike Ice Beam, so the Melmetal will wall it entirely. But you'll see that if Paliotat stays in, he might still be able to make this very close. Just straight Side Strike, because Side Strike is such a good attack. Mewtwo won't faint it to Rock Slide just yet, maybe in the 2 shield. I remember level 40 Master League it would, but not level 50. So let's see, the first Side Strike coming in does almost about as much as a Rock Slide, really. Both the Pokemon almost about his equal health here. And catching on Mamos. What? What are you... Huh? He must be trying to bait out the Annihilate. This is a crazy catch. He just goes for superpower and pulls a shield here, no? Unless you let us go. He doesn't let us go. In comes Dialga now. Interesting. Maybe he's trying to bait out the Annihilate, but has Melmetal on the back. That could be good play for Paliutat still. This could be a high horsepower. It won't knock out Dialga just yet, but we'll leave it at like 1 HP. Let's see. It is an avalanche only. Can you get to another attack here as Paliutat? Wings is not having any of it. He's just going to throw Iron Head before this Mamswine can get to another attack. And it doesn't get shielded. In comes indeed the Melmetal on the back. This is definitely not over yet, but Wings can get to a Draco Meteor, and that would do a lot of damage. It makes sense Paliutat doesn't throw the attack yet, because Origin Dialga is not in super range just yet. No shields that Draco, which does a lot. And you gotta throw quickly here, because otherwise Wings is just going to swap out and use this Dialga later as well. Both Pokemon on Paliutat's side, the Mewtwo and the Melmetal, don't have any fast attack pressure on this Dialga. So you gotta knock it out with Charge Attacks here before Wings stores up energy and swaps out. Going for double superpower. At this point, there's no way he stays in, right? In comes Mewtwo again. Swapping into ZARUDE, not exactly the place you want to be. Shooting up the first attack. Is Paliutat going to throw ridiculous bait again? He does! Ridiculous! Who does this? But it works. In comes Melmetal. Dude, there's no way you win this, right, as Paliutat? There's no way. I think this Wings just 3-0 this. I mean, he has a very good matchup, but this puts it very low. Oh. How much energy did that Mewtwo have? Holy moly. Takes down Melmetal. Can shield and get to an Ice Beam here as well. And then there's still the Melmetal on Paliutat's side. I don't think you even shield this. Perhaps double superpower might be the play from this point. Let's see. Does shield it. Wants to get that off. Maybe he has some energy on that Melmetal. Dude, I don't know. If Paliutat's wins this, well freaking done. Ice Beam puts it there. And it has a superpower loaded. That's a well-played game. These are the kind of games that Paliutat's going to need. Because Wings' team is overpowering him. Otherwise. Alright, the next game, Mega Blastoise into Dialga. A very good lead for Paliutat here. Going into the Ho-Oh right away. And let's see what Paliutat has to answer this. If he didn't bring the Blastoise, he's kind of in trouble. And he's staying in still. Let's see. Going for the Sacred Fire. Knowing that Paliutat doesn't have Thunder on his Dialga. You can throw this before the attack. Doesn't shield that. Oh, man. I think he tried to live that, but he didn't. This is very rough. Going for another attack here. Side Strike might barely knock out Ho-Oh. It looks like Wings is going to shield that up. I would think it's probably the Mamoswine in the back from Paliutat if he is staying into there. This is actually looking very... Why did he let that go? He just let that go there. Let's see. Sacred Fire coming in. Shields that up. No debuff, which is pretty big. And the Charge Stack Purity Tie on his attack. Very good counter from Paliutat. But there's a Melmetal still. There's a Melmetal still, and there's a Blastoise from Wings. No, he didn't bring ZARUDE, which is crazy, actually. Let's see. And trying to catch on Melmetal. I think this is kind of looking over. This is kind of looking over. The problem here is there's a full Mega Blastoise in the back. You have energy on Superpower. You have the Superpower here. Oh, man. Yeah, going for another Rock Slide. You need Thunderbolt now. I think 2 Thunderbolt with Thunderstrikes would knock out, but he does have that. So there's going to be a very uphill battle for the Melmetal. I mean, Melmetal generally doesn't do terrible in this matchup. It's like similar to Kyogre, where Melmetal can actually win the 2 shields. And that's actually pretty impressive, considering the difference in stats, attacks, the same type attack bonus, of course, because Melmetal really doesn't throw any of that. Letting this go still, Wings keeping the shields for his own Melmetal, knowing that he will wall that Mewtwo. Yeah, just putting the last shield for the Melmetal now. I think a Superpower and a Rock Slide might be enough. Oh my, goes for superpower. Let's see, yeah. 2 attacks should be enough here to win this battle for Wings. Let's see. The attack is being loaded. Oh no, I think the game crashed here. So Wings told me that they just left it here because they know Wings would have won this. But yeah, you can see here an example of the game state often that your charge stack just doesn't fire. Or that the charge stack is not being fired, it just keeps loading here. And it might be playing on the other side, but not in this one. Both players just froze on this battle. So that's a little bit of an unfortunate ending there, even though it was pretty obvious that Wings would have won that battle. I think it actually was good play for Paliutat if he maybe shielded the Dialga, like grab a shield, then swap into Mewtwo maybe, or just go into Melmetal into the Ho-Oh, right? Because you do have pace. So yeah, I think Paliutat just flinched a little bit on that Ho-Oh, and Wings wins this Brazilian matchup by 3-1. A little bit of a buzzkill of an ending there. Regardless, though, very well played by both players. Paliutat had a sick Game 3, and I think that Wings utilized his team comp advantage with that ZARUDE. I really like some ZARUDE play because I built one myself recently. So yeah, it was a good matchup nonetheless. Hope you liked the video, and see you next one.